Hi, everybody. This is Brian Martin here at St. Ignatius. I want to welcome you all to our virtual information sessions here. Today, we're going to be talking about the student experience. My role here, a little bit about myself, I'm the assistant principal of student life. And so I'm pretty heavily involved in extracurriculars, and really we kind of talk about those more as co-curriculars here at Ignatius, because it really kind of goes hand in hand with what our guys are doing in the classroom. But today we have four of our best Ignatians here who are going to tell you a little bit about themselves and a little bit about, shed some light on their experiences as students here at St. Ignatius. So first, we have three seniors. We have Matt Gibberti, we've got Ryan Zix, and we have Aiden Conway. And then the young guy here, the youngster with us, is the great Brandon Webster. And so, guys, I was hoping you could just start, just if you could tell everyone just a little bit about yourselves, where you came from, what grade school you went to, and what extracurriculars you guys are involved with here at school.
Yeah, so my name is Matthew Gibberti. I'm from Rocky River originally, and then I went to Roughing Montessori in Rocky River for grade school. And then here at Ignatius, I'm involved. I play baseball. I'm involved with some service initiatives, specifically Labra Ministry, Pallbearers Ministry, and Christmas Food Drive is a big one that we're doing right now. And then I'm also a peer tutor here at St. Ignatius as well.
And I'll ask the seniors this, Matt, do you know what you're doing yet next year, or are you still deciding?
Yeah, so I'm actually headed to Harvard in Boston to play baseball next year, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Great.
Recently, so.
Very good. All right, Ryan, what about you? Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
So I'm from Fairview Park and went to St. Angelo Merici there. Here at Ignatius, I do a lot, but the things that take up most of my time are student senate. I do what's called congressional debate and the robotics club. As for next year plans, I'm still undecided, but I'm looking at Vanderbilt as my top option to do something in biology.
Great. All right, Aiden, what about you?
My name's Aiden Conway. Originally from Lakewood. I went to Lakewood Catholic Academy. Here at Ignatius, I play football and hockey. I'm a member of National Honor Society. As far as service goes, like Matt said, Labra and pallbearers. So, yeah.
Can you just real quickly, for people who aren't familiar with Labra, can you tell everyone a little bit about Labra, what Labra and the Pallbearer Society is?
Yeah, so both were actually founded by Mr. Jim Skrull. And so Labra is every Sunday night. We send out a few vans all over like the Cleveland area, down to the flats, out east. And you just deliver food, clothing items, that kind of stuff, but to the homeless. But more important is, the interaction and the conversations and, the relationships you build with those people. And then the Pallbearers Ministry is that's available to juniors and seniors. And basically you just pallbear at funerals for people who may not have many family members left or many friends to pallbear for them. So again, just offering that support and that camaraderie to people who need it.
Great. And Brandon, what about you? Brandon Webster, our sophomore panelist here.
I'm Brandon Webster. I'm from Cleveland Heights, and the grade school I went to was Communion of Saints. I play basketball, football, and run track at Ignatius.
Great. Thank you, Brandon. And I'm curious to hear from each one of you guys, just why did you choose Ignatius in the first place? I'm sure four talented guys like you had a lot of different options. What ultimately led you to pick St. Ignatius here?
Yeah, for me, it was just kind of the people. I was pretty blown away when I both shadowed, visited during open house, and just talking to other people who had gone here, as well as some of the staff and teachers here. I was just really blown away with how caring everyone is. Really, everyone is willing to go out of their way to help you, whether that's another student, whether that's a teacher, a coach. Everyone here is really there to help you. And it's really just a brotherhood where everyone is looking to help everyone else. And that was something I didn't see a lot of other places. And that was what really separated Ignatius for me in my mind.
I fell in love during my 8th grade SCP. and I met a lot of new people, and everyone was just very caring and likable.
I had a lot of exposure to Ignatius. My brother went there. I did SEP. I did the 8th grade algebra. I went to different soccer games, so I had a lot of exposure, and that's how I came to know how great the people were, like Matt and like Brandon were saying. Whether it's hearing stories about teachers or seeing the student section at different games, I definitely got to see how great the community was.
Once you just get on campus and like they said, the people and just the energy and the community on campus, I mean, I instantly fell in love, and it was something that I had to be a part of, that I really wanted to be a part of.
Great. Thanks, Aiden. So how would you guys, just in general, how would you describe what it's like to be a student here at St. Ignatius?
So I would say it's pretty fast paced is the word I would use to describe it. It's not unmanageable, obviously, and it's kind of up to you to decide what you want to do. There's so many things you can do on campus, whether that's extracurriculars, service, sports. Academics is obviously very challenging and a big part of the experience here. But it's really just kind of up to you to take on as much as you want. And I think like it's kind of whatever you make it. It's kind of up to you to decide. And it's really fast paced, kind of going, you got to be able to switch. Okay, I'm a student now. I'm an athlete here. I'm doing service here. But I think all of those things are just become a really big part of the experience. And by the end of your 4 years, those things really become a priority in your life. And it just kind of becomes part of you.
I'd say it's very welcoming. Like Matt was saying, no matter what your interest is, there's always going to be a group to come and welcome you into the club or the team or whatever. But on a more like daily basis, whenever I come into school, I just walking down the hallways, I'm always, seeing my friends and they are saying hi and greeting me with a smile, and same with teachers, just walking down the hallways, going into class, you always feel very welcomed here.
I mean, yeah, again, they hit a lot of it, but being a student at St. Ignatius is actually more. There's like more emphasis like on just not just the word student. So it's more about here developing like the whole person. So yeah, you got to take care of your academics. That always comes first, but it's really about developing the whole student. And here, the word student means more than just how you are academically. So like they said, getting involved with other extracurriculars is crucial.
Great. Thanks, Aiden. So, that's an interesting segue. I talked at the beginning about how I think at Ignatius here, we really talk about extracurriculars more as co-curriculars, right? Like what you learn in the classroom is really kind of emphasized and enhanced by what you're doing outside of the classroom as well. So I was wondering, you guys already shared a little bit about some of the activities you're involved in. I wonder if you could talk a little bit more about just how those, maybe just pick one of them even, how those experiences have enhanced your time as a student too.
For me, I mentioned I do debate, and that's really been the best extracurricular I've been a part of. I've done that all 4 years. And of course, it's helped with like public speaking and being able to think on my feet. But it's also helped me just have it with confidence, which helps in everything I do. Whether it's help with the coaches, the different English teachers that help out with it. It just helps. It helps me feel good. Like I feel like I'm doing the right thing when I speak or when I lead a room, and that's helped me in ways that I can't put into words.
For me, I would say peer tutoring has been a really kind of powerful experience for me. I've learned through peer tutoring how to really connect with people better. So every guy is going to be different. Every guy you work with is going to have a different learning style, a different personality, and you kind of got to work with him to meet him where he is and connect with him on a human level before they're going to trust you to help them with whatever they're working on. You kind of have to build a connection with them. And that's translated into other parts of my life, being able to connect with people better, whether that's in school or out of school.
Another extracurricular I do that I didn't mention was Cleveland Rocket Wildcats, which is an ice hockey team for kids with various disabilities. And so kind of the common denominator that I've found from all the extracurriculars, whether it be sports or service based or academic based, is that they're all teaching you how to work with people and how to be better for the whole, not so that you can better the whole. So putting you in what at first might be uncomfortable situations or something that you're not used to seeing or dealing with every day, and then you working through that with others so that you're becoming better for the whole, I think is really a big part of what the extracurriculars do here for us.
I agree with Conway. I think through extracurriculars is helping us communicate better with people and become a better person.
Thanks, guys. You all seem to sort of hit in one way or another on this theme of openness to growth, right? So here at Ignatius, that's one of the big hallmarks that we try to impress upon kids, is how important it is to be open to new challenges, open to new experiences. And I think you guys have done a great job articulating that, so thank you. Switching gears a little bit here, guys. One of the things that we often hear from prospective families, prospective students, is that Ignatius really, it feels almost like a small college, right? Just because of the campus, because of the way that our school is set up and kind of the physical nature of the school, that it's a lot different than a grade school experience. And so I'm wondering if you can just talk a little bit about the campus environment here at Ignatius and sort of how hard was that for you guys to adjust to when you came here?
I think for me, or ultimately what separates Ignatius in this transition is the amount of help that's available to you. The amount of help available to you is overwhelming in a good way. You know, all your teachers are always available to meet with you, tutors, friends, librarians, anyone. So really, it is a tough adjustment, or it was for me, but the resources are definitely there to help you make that transition smoother.
For me, coming from a smaller grade school environment, I was a little bit intimidated going in. Obviously, 400 and some guys is a little different than a grade school environment. So kind of the beginning of my freshman year, I was a little shy, a little bit scared to kind of step out of my shell and meet people. But I think kind of once you come to the realization, everyone's kind of in the same boat, right? Some guys may come in with a lot of grade school friends. But in reality, I would say pretty much freshman year, everyone is kind of in the same boat looking for to build relationships and build friendships. And I think that's kind of, once you realize that, it kind of opens up to you because you'll be willing to put yourself out there, maybe introduce yourself to someone you don't know or try that club that you've never tried before. And I think the school does a great job of kind of encouraging that, especially your freshman, sophomore year, just kind of trying things out, finding what you like, finding the group of people that you're going to spend the rest of the 4 years with. But I think the school does a great job of providing a lot of opportunities to kind of interact and engage with people.
Yeah, I mean, I agree wholeheartedly with what Matt and Aiden have both said. Going into freshman year, I only had a few guys from my grade school coming to Ignatius, so I didn't know too many people. But doing SEP helped not only like know people, but also get better at introducing myself and reaching out to meet people. But I would absolutely agree that freshman year, there are so many opportunities and so many different ways that the school allows you to meet people. I mean, some of my best friends to this day are the people I met in freshman year. So there are just plenty of opportunities to really meet people and make the best friends of your life as soon as you come in.
Yeah, I would say my transition was decent. Like doing SCP, I knew many of the guys that came to Ignatius, so I felt comfortable. I think Ignatius pushes towards meeting new people and creating new friend groups, getting involved in clubs, making more friends. So I think that's something good.
Thanks, guys. A number of you guys, and myself included, I think have talked about SEP. What is SEP, and why is that such an important thing for you?
Oh yeah, so SEP is Ignatius's summer enrichment program. So you come down here and you're divided up into teams. So it's a big pool of kids from all over the greater Cleveland area, and so you're mixed up really well. So you get to meet, you know, a bunch of different kids, which in grade school I think is a really important experience, especially in 7th and 8th grade. It's basically just fun all day, but more specifically, you have your in the morning you have your classes. So classes, it's not like you're in there and the teachers are putting you to work, and it's not like summer school or anything. It's just kind of get a good feel of, you know, how the classroom setting is here at Ignatius. And then you have lunch, and then you move on to the athletic events and the kind of competitions. Yeah, it's really just a great experience. And like Brandon said, if you are able to do SCP and then you end up deciding to come to Ignatius, I mean, there's probably 200-300 kids, you know, right there already, right off the bat. So definitely a great experience for anyone who's considering it.
I'm curious if you guys could talk about just one favorite spot that you guys have on campus. Like if there's one place here that really is kind of meaningful to you guys for some reason, what would you say that would be?
For me, I'd probably say the library. Just because over the years I've gotten really close with Miss P and Miss Streen. Um, you know, coming in as a little wide-eyed freshman, you know, they kind of take you under their wing, and you know, if you need help with anything, or you know, you need to borrow a computer for the day or something, they're always there for you. So um, I always go in there every day and stop in and say hi to them, and then you know, any free time I have, I go in there and try to get as much homework done as possible.
For me, I'd have to say it's RADE Dining Hall. Obviously, this year it's a little bit different with COVID. Some of that time and opportunity for interaction is a little different, but my first 3 years here, some of the best memories I have are just kind of sitting in the lunchroom, kind of just talking with your buddies and hanging out and discussing school and life and pretty much anything, and just kind of hanging out around the table at lunch. It's some of the best memories I have.
I think I gotta agree with Matt here, but for me it was the atrium. That's where we would go every day for lunch or during a free periods and just clown around or shoot the breeze, eat lunch, or have a mad scramble to study for the AP US history exam the next period. So I've certainly had all kinds of different memories in the atrium. That's my go-to spot.
I agree with Matt and Ryan. Some of my best conversations have happened in the atrium and RADE Dining Hall. I just connect with my friends more, and I don't know, it's just a good place to be.
Great. So what about the food here? What do you guys think about the food? You're talking about the dining hall. You keep talking about hanging out with your buddies, but obviously your teenage boys are eating too. What's your favorite meal here at Ignatius?
Nugget day, hands down. You get unlimited nuggets essentially that you could just load into a box, and you get some sweet, I think it's sweet baby rays, or you get some good barbecue sauce with it too. It can't be beat.
For me, I got to go with the Asian bowl. A little bit of orange chicken and noodles is always the best day of the month. I always look forward to that.
No, it's hard not to go with the Reach Burger, just because that's just like a staple here. It's unique here, so I don't know. I feel special and privileged whenever it's Reach Burger Day, because I know that kids across Ohio aren't getting the Reach Burger, and we are. So,
Aiden, for the uninitiated, can you describe what the Reach Burger is?
yeah. So it's basically it's a cheeseburger with a hash brown in it. Not basically, that's what it is. But I don't know. There's something when you open that white cardboard box and it's cooked, and it's like nice and warm, and the bread's soft, and it's unparalleled anywhere else. I haven't even eaten at any other high school cafeterias, but I can pretty much guarantee that we got the best.
I would say wing day. The buffalo wings here are unmatched to any other place. I think these are the best wings I ever had before. And the barbecue is really good too.
All right. So you guys are well fed, huh? Thumbs up for our food choices here on campus. All right, good. Switching gears here a little bit, guys. So you guys talked earlier about the importance of service for you, right? And Brandon, as a sophomore, you're just starting to experience kind of our sophomore service program here. at Ignatius, but particularly Matt and Aiden and Ryan, who've been here a little longer, you've had a chance to experience one of the things that we're most proud about here at Ignatius, which is our service opportunities under the umbrella of what we call our Christian Action Team. So I'm wondering if I'm hoping you guys could just talk a little bit more about your service experiences and kind of how that's helped you grow as a man here at Ignatius.
Yeah, so for me, one of the coolest aspects of service at Ignatius is none of it's forced on you. It's all kind of up to you to get involved. So everyone who is there wants to be there. And I think that service has really provided me with some of the most powerful experiences of my time here at Saint Ignatius. Just right outside of our bubble, we've got so many people that maybe aren't as fortunate as us, and being able to build relationships with them through a lot of our community-based programs like the Arupe House and Labra and Pallbearers are just it's a good way to kind of step back and get some perspective on we're really lucky to be where we are, and just kind of building a relationship with people in the community has been really just kind of a transformative experience for me in high school.
Matt talked about the local community, but they also here at St. Ignatius, they do a lot of mission trips, a lot of service trips. And that's something I did. I went down to Louisville last summer, and like Matt was saying, here in the community, you realize just how fortunate and how blessed you are to have what we have. And then you develop relationships with the people you meet. I mean, every day I think of playing basketball with kids down in Louisville or helping people learn English. It's a great experience. And Ignatius gives you so many different opportunities. You could do it for a short amount of time in one day here in Cleveland, or you can go down for a week or two somewhere else. There are just endless opportunities to help out.
Ryan, can you talk a little bit more about some of the other summer mission trips? Because I think that's a key point that you hit on there.
Like I said, I did Louisville. I believe there are 2 other trips to West Virginia. There's a Keno border trip down to the American-Mexico border. There are a few other international ones, like one to the Dominican Republic. I think there is actually one just here in Cleveland, like a Cleveland immersion. So you really do have the full spectrum of options with mission trips.
A service truly is a priority here. It's also a privilege. Other schools may not hold service or rank it as highly, I guess, in its priorities. So it's a blessing to have the school create so many opportunities for us. I mean, you could go down the list on and on the different opportunities, and then even branch out from there. So kind of how there's clubs for everything and co-curriculars for everything here, there's also service opportunities for everyone and every interest. All the different athletic teams are always involved in some kind of service. So it's really great how personalized it can get.
Aiden, could you talk a little bit more about that? You mentioned that the athletic teams are involved in service too. What do you mean by that?
So I'll never forget freshman year, before we even had a practice or a game or anything, the hockey team went on Labra, and we would do that every year. So that was really kind of my eye opener for what was going on around us, and my eye opener to service. Like Matt said, you're kind of in this bubble, especially just coming in as a freshman. You're used to just your grade school, and then you're just starting to branch out a little bit, but you really don't understand what's going on around you. So being able to go on Labra and that kind of opened my eyes to Labra, and I've been going on Labra ever since.
Yeah, so just kind of add on to what I was saying a little bit earlier, in that nothing's really forced on you, but I would say that the caveat to that is that almost everyone is involved in service. It's a really big part of the culture here. So while you're not required to do anything, except for sophomore service, it's kind of just part of the culture here. And whether you come in doing a lot of service in grade school or not, you're going to be exposed to it at some point. And I think for a lot of people, that's been a really important experience for them.
can you describe to the folks watching, like what that means and how that's like worked into our schedule here at Ignatius?
Yeah, so sophomore service is, like Matt has said, the only required service for your time here at Ignatius. Once a week, you'll have a class with Mr. McLaughlin about, doing service. And another day of the week, you'll go out to a certain agency that you have and spend hours just helping out in whatever way you're needed. Whether that's, going to a school in the local community or just helping out around Ohio City. It's one of the best ways to change your mindset.
So it's actually, just for the viewers out there to understand, our sophomore service program is actually worked into our daily curriculum. So it's considered one of our theology courses, and you get a grade for it, and you're expected to meet all the class requirements for it. So I think it hopefully goes to show just what a premium, what an emphasis this notion of service has here at Ignatius. What is something that surprised you guys about Saint Ignatius?
I guess I would say the freedom here. Like, you don't really have anyone to tell you where to go or where to be. Like, in your free periods, you can take a nap, do homework, go get something to eat. But freedom what really surprised me here.
I think I'd agree with that. You definitely have a lot of freedom. But one of the other things, which I had mentioned earlier, is just how easy it is to get to know people. I think our freshman class was 419, and yet I can easily say I know probably like 80 or 90% of the people in our class. I never would have expected to go into such a large class and know this many people.
So Ryan, you would say, is it fair to say you're surprised that it wasn't as overwhelming as you thought it might be?
For sure.
Okay, great.
For me, it was really just surprising how open the community was. There's really not cliques. Like, obviously, the sports teams and clubs are going to be close, but it's not like, okay, whatever activity you do, that's your only friend group. I'd say there's a lot of friendships and relationships you can build with people that maybe don't have anything in common with you. I think that's one of the big things at Saint Ignatius, just like the diversity of people that you get to expose to compared to a grade school where you're kind of coming from this small environment, mainly people that live in the same city as you or near you. And I think coming to Saint Ignatius, a big part of that experience is being exposed to a whole different group of people that maybe you had never seen in grade school or never interacted with, and kind of hearing their perspectives and ideas is kind of a big thing of part of the experience here at Saint Ignatius, I think.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say like almost exactly what Matt said about, the different like cliques or whatever. You're in grade school and you see like all the corny like movies about high school, and it's like, oh, the jocks and like the nerds and that. Well, there's like contrary to, I don't know who would believe that, I guess 7th grade me, but there really is like none of that at all. Like, everyone's just like great friends. Like, you very rarely, if at all, ever hear of like someone getting like bullied or whatever. Everyone's just super nice to each other and accepting of each other. Whatever you do is considered cool, I guess. If you're in the band, like, that's cool. If you play sports, that's cool. If you do speech and debate, that's cool. If you're into service or cat team, like, that's cool. I was really surprised, and it's really reaffirming to see that early on, that whatever you're into and whatever you like to do is accepted by everyone.
So one of the themes that I just keep hearing over and over again is this idea of relationships and how important relationships have been for you guys here at Ignatius. I was hoping you guys could share just one of those relationships, whether it's a teacher, a staff member, a teammate, but one relationship that has really kind of made you a better person, or kind of helped you see the world in a different way than when you came into Ignatius.
I would say for me, it's Mr. Popelka, who teaches honors biology to freshmen and then honors anatomy and physiology to juniors and seniors. He was actually my first class here. I had him freshman year, first period. And while he does teach biology, he does teach a lot of like life lessons, if you will. He always says it's a biology flavored class on life. You know, he gives a lot of advice. He also teaches his class in a very like individual way. So after each test, he'll call you into the back and look over the test with you one on one and just go over anything you had questions on, anything you got wrong. So all the advice that he gave me, the focus on the individual person has helped throughout these 4 years here, and I'm sure they'll help going forward.
For me, I'd probably say a really great relationship that I've built over these past years was probably with Coach O'Rourke. Um, being fortunate enough to be around him closely for the past 4 years as a coach, and then even like freshman year, I had him for a Latin teacher. He's really just kind of road mapped and showed me how to be an Ignatian man. And one of the things that he always says that, well, he says a lot of hockey, but kind of applies to everything is share the credit and take the blame, which kind of aligns with men for others, you know. I mean, I could go on and on, but you know, every weekend when we go out of town for hockey, he has us go to mass on Sunday mornings. So the faith aspect, he's really the one who early on opened my eyes to, you know, the service at Ignatius through Labra, through Cleveland Rock and Wildcats. So he's really been a positive influence in forming me or showing me what it means to be an Ignatian man for sure.
I would say Coach Rubino. He always pushed me to do better. Help me push other people to be better. Wants me to be at the top of everything. Just makes me a overall better person.
And Brandon, Coach Rubino is, for the people who don't know him, what does he do here?
He's a strength and conditioning coach.
Okay. Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah, for me, kind of similar to Aiden, I'd say Coach Gaynor has been a really big influence on my time here. Like Aiden said, encouraging a lot of different service and faith-based things. One of the cool traditions we have as a baseball program is we go to mass every Friday morning. In some contingency, the baseball program has been represented at every Friday morning mass since Mr. Skrull passed away. That's kind of the baseball tradition. But also in things outside of the classroom or outside of the field. He's really impacted my life, especially I would say the one biggest takeaway I've had from playing for Coach Gaynor and knowing Coach Gaynor is attention to detail. Coming in as a freshman, he's got some different things that he's very particular about with the uniform and showing up on time and being focused, and kind of you learn that early on, and that's translated really for me into the classroom and into my life as well. Just those little things really matter.
Another theme that I've heard come up a lot here in the conversations, guys, is this notion of leadership, that you guys all, in one way or another, have clearly grown as leaders here and grown as men at St. Ignatius. So could you talk just a little bit about the role, or talk a little bit more, I guess, about the role that Ignatius has had in your growth as a leader?
For me, I think like Ignatius, one of the bigger lessons I've learned is that there's a lot of different ways to be a leader. Kind of in grade school and like early in high school, I was kind of had that vision of a leader as the guy who stands in front of everyone talking, telling people what to do and kind of running the show. But through a lot of my experiences in extracurriculars and classes, I've kind of come to learn that there's a lot of different ways to be a leader, whether that's leading by example, whether that's being that guy out in front, or even if that's that guy behind the scenes that just reaches out to a teammate or to a classmate and tries to help them behind the scenes. I think that everyone can be a leader in their own right. And I think that at Ignatius, that's a huge theme. And I think a lot of people do a really good job of stepping up and being leaders in their own way.
For me, I'm part of the Student Senate. And what I've really taken from that is how much leadership hinges on service, since a lot of what we do as a Senate is service based, whether that's to the community through like food and toy drives, or it's to like the students in the St. Ignatius community. through like setting up for homecoming or putting together, things like Lumberjack Day. So being a part of Student Senate has helped me focus, like Matt was saying, from the idea that a leader is somebody in the front of the room talking to somebody who's more behind the scenes getting stuff done to help other people.
I would say that doing the little things as a leader is leading by example, pushing others, just being that main guy that just encourages others to do better and be better.
Being a leader is truly being a servant. So you're serving that group of people that you're leading. So, you have to think every action that you're doing has to be for the betterment of the individuals that you're leading. And again, that relates to, the service aspect here at Ignatius, but I'm guessing that that's been passed down through generations, that style of leadership. But I think that's a really prevalent one here is, especially with Man for Others, is you're like Mr. Scroll said, you exist not to be better than everyone, but to make everyone better. So I think that's really a great style.
Thanks, guys. Two more questions I've got for you. My first here is there anything you would do or you would have done differently in your 4 years, or Brandon, in your 1.5 years so far at Ignatius?
For me, I think my freshman and sophomore year, I was a little hesitant to kind of open up and talk to my teachers, I would say, is the biggest part of it. But I think all of the teachers are really interested in who you are as a person, not just who you are as a student. And they really want to build those relationships with you. So I would say the biggest thing that I would probably go back and do, if I could go back to my freshman, sophomore year, is maybe try and focus a little bit more on building that relationship with my teachers outside of just the classroom. They're people too. They're not just the people who stand up in front of you and talk, teach you your subject, but they really care about you as a person, and they want to build that relationship with you. And I think that as you come to realize that, I think that's when you really open yourself up to really learn from those people.
I guess looking back on it, hindsight's always 2020, but I think I would have been a little like freshman year and into sophomore year, I would have been more outgoing, I'd say. It's really easy to just be happy and be content with, your friends from grade school or your friends from your various sports or extracurriculars. But not really until like probably like late junior year, honestly. And now like I've really started to branch out and make a lot more friends with a bunch of other really cool guys. Just those different relationships are really good and really beneficial, I think.
I would say something similar to what Aiden said, just kind of step outside my comfort zone, whether that's, trying to be more outgoing, meet more people, or taking like more challenging classes, or even like trying a different club or sport. Stepping outside my comfort zone is something I didn't do a whole lot at Ignatius. And I think usually when we do that, it only helps. So that would be really the only thing I would go back and do differently.
All right, great. So my last question for you guys is this, and it might be the hardest one yet. If you had to sum up your Ignatius experience in one word, what would that word be?
I would say connections.
Community.
First word that came to mind was camaraderie.
Brotherhood. It's pretty similar to what the other guys have said, but I think that sums it up pretty well.
All right. Well, Matt, Ryan, Brandon, and Aiden, I think everyone out there watching can understand why you guys are viewed so favorably here at Ignatius, and why you guys are such great representations of what the school is about and what we hope the student experience will be. The one thing I would add here is that, and I see this every day of my life in my professional experience, that there is truly something for everyone, I think, at St. Ignatius. Whether it's the 100 clubs or the sports that we offer, or the extracurriculars, or the service, or anything else. It is impossible I defy you to come to Ignatius and say there's nothing for me to do here. Again, I see the guys nodding here on the screen. I think hopefully they would agree that if this is a place that you choose to make your home, it's going to be just that. It's going to be a home for the next 4 years. So we wish you luck. And again, if you have questions, by all means, reach out to the people here. I think you can see how much love there is for the school from the students who go here. So good luck to you, and let us know what you need. Take care.